Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the coolest things, and I know I say that a lot. You know, I keep saying this is the most essential and this is the coolest thing in programming, but it's not that it's the most important, but these are all building blocks or tools that we have in our tool belt, and it allows us to use these building blocks or tools in our tool belt, if you will, and build our applications. And this is another really important tool in our tool belt. And this building block is actually called if else. Okay, so we're going to look at if and else statements. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my screen here. Make sure that you have XAMPP running. So whatever operating system you're on, for me, that would be sudo opt lamp XAMPP start to start my server. So make sure that's running. And let's go back over here to our Explorer and create, I'm just going to say if else.php. And we can close our operators file from the last video. And we're going to open and close some PHP tags here. So go ahead and open them, close them, save it, and let's go to our browser now and navigate to our if else.php file. And now we can see that that PHP file is empty. By the way, if you ever have an error and you don't go to the correct place, you're going to get a 404 error. So just if you get a 404, then check the spelling of your and your path that you're trying to navigate to. You should get a blank page at this point because we don't have anything here. So in our last video, you remember we talked in our operators of about we have things that return booleans. Okay, so we are going to do if else statements. Now these if else statements, what they allow us to do is ask a question basically, and these questions all have to evaluate to true or false. So if we're doing something, we're going to say if true, do some code, else do some other code. Okay, basically, essentially that's what we have to do. We have to make decisions and only do part of our code if something is true. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up a variable called name, and I'm going to set that equal to Curtis. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an if else statement here. And so the way we do this is we type the word if, and then we open and close some parentheses, and then we open and close some curly braces. Okay, and then right here inside of this we have to do some sort of evaluation. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use if not empty name. Okay, so if not empty name, we're going to do something, and what I want to do here is I'm going to echo. We're going to echo howdy space and concatenate on name, and then I'm going to echo a break tag here. Okay, so if our name is not empty, and you know what, just because we haven't talked about that yet, let's rewrite that a little bit different, and I'm going to say if name is not triple equal an empty string. So if the name's not an empty string, then we're going to say howdy and then the name and then do a break tag. So let's go ahead and refresh, and now you can see that it says howdy Curtis. Now this would be useful because let's say name was stored in our database and someone logged into our website and we had a first name. Well, we could do a check and say, hey, if the first name isn't empty, we want to say howdy and then use their first name. Now, if they don't have, let's just say they haven't put their first name into our system and we don't know what their first name is, what we could do is do an else statement here. So we type the word else, we open and close some curly braces, so now we have an if else statement, and then we could say echo howdy space stranger, like this. And then what I'll do is I'm going to also echo a break tag here. Okay, so we have an if and we have an else. These are kind of paired together. So what happens is anything in this parentheses If that evaluates to true, then it's going to do everything that's in this between these two curly braces. If this evaluates to false, it's going to skip everything that's in these curly braces, and it's going to carry on down the script, and in this case, it's going to do the else. It's only going to do this else if this is false. It's never going to do both of these, okay? So it's going to say if, else, and so if it evaluates to true, it's going to do this. Else is going to say howdy stranger. So let's go back and refresh now. And you can see that it doesn't say howdy Curtis and then howdy stranger. It just says howdy Curtis. But what happens now if we go ahead and empty out this variable called name and we refresh? Now it says howdy stranger, because this right here we're checking, hey, if name is not equal to an empty string, do this. Well, it can't do that because that is equal to an empty string, so it does the else statement. Okay, so that is an if else. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back to Curtis. Now let's look at another example. Let's say, and let's just put Curtis's age up here and say Curtis is 40 years old. Okay, so let's go down here now, and inside of another if statement, we're going to say, hey, if age, so we can type age, is less than or equal to 18, we're going to echo, you are a kid. Okay, and then we will also echo, no, we won't. I'm going to put that right down here at the bottom of this. Echo a break tag. Okay, so we have a variable called age, and we set that to an integer of 40. And we're saying if the age is less than or equal to 18, it's going to echo and say you are a kid. So if I go back now and I refresh, it just says howdy Curtis, but we don't see that statement that says you are a kid. However, if we were to put our age at 17 or 18 or anything less than that, now it says you are a kid. Okay? So let's put that back to 40. And I'm going to show you another thing you can do in an if-else statement. We can say else if, like this. Else if, we can check another evaluation, and we say, hey, is age less than, or if it's greater than 18, and then we could say, or no, let's do an and. So we'll say double ampersand, and age is less than or equal to, let's say 39. Let's echo you are young. I'll just say you are a young adult. And let's change this number to, let's say, 33. That's more reasonable. So now it's going to be you are a young adult. So if I put this somewhere there, let's put this at 24. So let's see what Curtis was when he was 24. And now it says you are a young adult. And that's, remember this ampersand, we're saying, hey, if they're greater than 18 and they are less than or equal to 33, echo this out, okay? Now what happens, let's just, let's do another, we can do another one. So let's say else if, and we say if age, else if, so it's going to check this parenthesis first. If that's false, it's going to move down and check this parenthesis. If that's false, it's going to move down and check this one. So we don't need to check if it's greater than 18 anymore. Now what we can do is we just say, hey, if the age is, let's say, greater than, well, we'll keep this up. If it's greater than 33 and age is less than or equal to, let's say 49, let's echo you are middle-aged. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish this off with an else. And then everything after that, let's just say echo you are old. Let's put some periods here. So now if I save and refresh, it's still going to say, oh, I got a parse error. So line 23, what did I do here? And I forgot my semicolon. Let's go back and refresh. I'm glad you guys got to see that. You are a young adult. So let's change our age now. And let's say Curtis is 40 years old, which happens to be true this time. And it says you are middle-aged. But what happens when Curtis becomes 50? Now it's going to say you are old. So you see the value in what we can do here is with these if and else statements, and we can even chain long if else statements together, and we can check one thing, and if that's not true, check the next thing. If that's not true, check the next thing. And if none of that's true, then just do this. Okay? You can do that. And then you can make your programs do whatever's in between these opening and closing curly braces. It will only run that if this evaluates to true. And then if you're using an else, it only does this else if none of these evaluate to true. Okay, that's what else is. It's like, check all this stuff. If none of that's true, then just do whatever else, okay? You don't have to do an else if or an else. You could, it's very likely that some parts of your code, you're just gonna check if. You don't have to do an else. So let's just say, let's see, let's put this back to 40. And let's add one more thing here. Let's say that my country is equal to United States. Okay, that's where I live. And let's say that if in my application, let's say it's a store, and let's just say that I do not deliver to I do not deliver to Canada. Okay, well, what I could do, or let's say I only deliver, my company is based in the United States and I only deliver my products to the United States. Then what I could do is I could say if country is equal to United States, and I could even do this and say or country is equal to US, then and only then do I want to echo you can purchase our products, something like that, right? So in this case, I don't want to say that on my screen, or I don't want to put that in the application if they say Curtis moved to Canada and now the company no longer delivers to Canada. If I refresh, that line is just not there anymore. So we don't have to do an else statement if we don't want. We can just evaluate if something's true and only run those lines of code if that's true. So let's put this back now to US. This should also evaluate to true because remember we did an or operator here. And we're saying, hey, if the country is equal to United States or, and let's just, let's just do this. Let's say if it's equal to United States or Canada, and let's do or the country is equal to Mexico, then you can purchase our products. Okay, so let's refresh now. And let me go back, and none of those evaluate to true because in fact I set my country equal to US. But now let's say I move to Canada, or you know what, let's move to Mexico and enjoy some warm weather. Okay, you can purchase our products because I live in Mexico. So if I live in Mexico, the United States, or Canada, I can purchase this. But let's say this company doesn't have the ability to deliver products across the ocean or whatever. Then let's say if I move to the United Kingdom, now I cannot purchase products. Womp womp, too bad. I have to buy products from somewhere in the United Kingdom instead. All right, so that is maybe some stupid examples, but I just kind of wanted to show you what if and else statements can do in your code. So go ahead and check all this and play around with some stuff. I think you'll have a lot of fun making your applications make some decisions and do whatever those are. Now remember the syntax, just to go over this one last time. You type if or else if you're down here, and then you put some parentheses. Now whatever's in this parenthesis has to be a Boolean. You're doing some sort of operator, and this operator is a comparison operator. So if you look back at our operators, you can do any of the comparison operators that we talked about here, and those will go inside of these if statements. Okay, so inside of the parens, and then if whatever's in here evaluates to true, then it will run the code that's in these opening and closing curly brackets. And then if you have an else attached to this, else, then it's going to run whatever's in here. So if it's false, it's going to run this. If it's true, it's going to run this. All right, so I hope that makes sense. This is a very important part of programming, so make sure you understand this. We're going to be doing if statements and else statements a lot throughout this course. So this is just something that you're going to have to learn. This is one of the most used things in programming to make decisions. Anyways, I hope that you're having a lot of fun. I hope that makes sense. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.